introduce you to Sergio Giangrande with Homeside Lending. I love Sergio because he is with my clients till the end. Professional, resourceful, knowledgeable, and at the top of his game. I'd like to introduce Sergio Giangrande of the Giangrande team, one of my favorite lenders who helps out my clients and has helped my clients for how many years now?
It's going on probably 12 years.
Oh my gosh, at least. Time flies. Well, and one of the things we're going to talk about is why use a mortgage broker instead of your bank. And banks are awesome, especially if you have a super strong relationship with them, but mortgage broker provides a lot more options and such. And I'm going to let Sergio expand on that.
Thanks. So different. I agree with you. Mortgage banks are great. So the difference between us is that we have more of a streamlined process because everything is done in-house. Unfortunately, with some of these banks, a lot of the underwriting and the processing isn't done on site, to where we have a little bit more control over that in our facility, and if we need to get something done a little bit faster, we have that ability just to go up to our underwriters, our processors. Everything is there at our fingertips.
Well, and let's talk about underwriting. I think a lot of people don't understand what underwriting is, and it's gotten so much more complicated since the crash.
Yes, correct. So underwriting, what sets us aside from the bank on the underwriting is that as a bank, they have what's called an overlay. So an overlay is that even though Fannie or Freddie might state that a certain requirement needs to be met, they might add on to that requirement. So somebody like us doesn't have that overlay. We go directly to Fannie and Freddie and we meet their guidelines. We don't put anything additional on it.
When you say overlay, is that like another step of oversight or another person who has to look at it or another set of requirements?
It's not another set of requirements. What it is, for example, let's say on a specific transaction, Fannie Mae might only require 3 months of reserves. An overlay would be that bank feels that that's too risky and they want to add 3 months and make it 6 months of reserves. Or a specific credit score. If Fannie Mae might say 620, the lender might say, okay, we won't take anything less than 640. That is what an overlay is. They just increase it because they feel that it's too much risk.
Well, and I think one of the ways you're able to do this is because you have kind of a portfolio of loan options.
Correct.
That maybe a bank only has their certain portfolios, their certain loan options.
Correct.
You're able to kind of pick and choose what might be best for that client.
Yes. So we underwrite, we fund everything in-house, but that doesn't
that's
mean...
interesting, so you do fund everything
We
in-house.
do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it comes directly to us, because what ends up happening is the servicing rights get transferred over after close.
So servicing rights is when you take a loan and then it goes to the secondary market.
Correct.
And that's why it needs to conform to all these guidelines, and that's what an underwriter is for.
Correct.
So the underwriter checks all the boxes, says, okay, this package is good, we can send this on to be sold in the secondary market.
Correct. And what happens is when you go to bank, it's just their guidelines. We have the ability to sell the servicing rights to 20 to 25 different lenders. So the one guideline with a specific bank might not meet it, but we have a home for it, to where the bank just have the one.
Interesting. So this is kind of bringing, taking the understanding of the mortgage industry kind of to the next level. Most people don't understand. It's like, oh, I'm going to the bank to get a mortgage. Well, that's not really what happens. The mortgage broker, the bank, has that loan, but then they do sell it. Generally, some carry it.
Some carry it. Some banks carry it. Your Chase and your Wells Fargo's, they might carry it.
So that's why they're stricter.
They are strict. They have a lot more red tape.
Exactly. So one of the other things we've experienced in the past, I've said, is, with a mortgage broker like you don't get compensated, much like myself. We don't get compensated until the deal closes. So we have much more of an incentive to be available, to be proactive, to get the deal done.
That's correct.
So
that's correct. We don't obviously make anything until the deal's transferred and sold off.
Exactly. So you are much more apt to be available. So when I call Sergio on a Saturday night, hey, it's the height of the spring market, things are moving fast, multiple offer situation, I need an updated pre-approval. Or maybe a pre-approval because my client just hadn't expected to find something that weekend and we hit the ground running.
Correct.
So I can call you, or if I have a unique situation or a deal that something happened to over the weekend, I can call you up and say, hey, or after hours. I don't usually call you that, so. But Yes, so you're always available, you've been great to work with, you're always so professional.
Thank you.
And he's a very nice guy as well.
Thank you.
So, did you want to say anything else about the loan process?
No,
Or
it's really it. That my team is obviously.
he has an amazing team.
Thank you. Everybody has their place, and it's a well-oiled machine. So I have to give them a lot of credit for how smooth the transaction goes. So.
Well, and after so many years in the industry, because we've known each other for 12 plus years, but you've been in it longer, you are able to kind of foresee what issues might come up.
Correct.
And kind of attack those before they ever really happen to make it as smooth as possible for our clients.
Yes.
Again, one of the reasons I have Sergio as one of my lenders and talk with some of my attorneys and that sort of thing is to make the transaction as smooth as possible for my clients. So when I have a great team, Sergio has a great team, it almost ensures the best possible outcome, the smoothest possible outcome.
Something that everybody needs to keep in mind is that I have to do a good job for you. So the reason that we're in this relationship is because we do work hard. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with somebody online, or you're dealing with somebody at the bank, they don't have that relationship with you. And not for nothing, they're not going to work as hard as we do to keep our relationship going. So.
Exactly. You know, my lenders, my attorneys on my team know, listen, I'm referring my clients to you because I trust you're going to take care of them. So it's my face on this as well. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So once again, Sergio with the Giangrande team. Thank you.
Thank you.